All right, before the break, I did say that I'll be looking at maintaining balance between or amongst what you have, money, your mind, and your health at this time. Sam Obafemi is joining me right now. He's the founder at Sam Obafemi Academy. I hope I got that. Sam, hi, how are you? Good morning on a lockdown day.
Good to hear your voice. How are you?
Hello, Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you? Safekeeping?
Yes, I'm coping, and I hope a lot of Nigerians are also coping. Sam, let's quickly take a look at this. Businesses, the world is on a lockdown. Business activities are on collapse at a record pace right now, not just in Nigeria. In fact, I was reading a report, a survey report just 2 days ago, and it did tell me that it showed that 70% of G7, you know G7, the most developed countries in the world, G7,
economically successful countries.
Yes, that it showed that 70% of G7 households are expected to be made poorer by the virus. In fact, I tried to equate that with Nigeria. I was like, if G7, with all their technology, all the industrialization they have, will be made poorer, how can we then cope in Nigeria? So you see that socioeconomic cycles have been disrupted. How can one handle this crisis without being mentally and psychologically affected? That's why I said I was going to speak to you this morning. If we can maintain our balance, I'm trying to hold forth. Of course, my job is an essential service, but how can I maintain that mental and social balance right now that I shouldn't just be running mad or crazy?
Yeah, it's a very critical situation we're in now as a people. The biggest challenge our people will face now is the problem of uncertainty. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So the biggest problem people will face in this period is uncertainty. We're not sure how long this will go. We're not sure how far this will go. We don't understand how this is going to turn out. We have never experienced this in our recent lifetime. So there's a lot of uncertainty around the problem that we're in. One direct advice I would give at the beginning of this conversation is that what you can control it. And what is beyond your control, let it go. Just let it flow. Go with the flow. That is a general advice I've given the last 2 weeks from people who have reached out to us asking how they can cope with this season. The first thing is what you have control over, control it. And what do they have control over? For instance, you have access to, up until yesterday, you will buy the supplies that you need for the foreseeable future. Because we don't know how long this will go, what you know is that I can buy what I need for the foreseeable future. And when I know what I need for the foreseeable future, I buy them and I reduce my extent of spending and extent of utilization of these resources. So this is an opportunity to learn new skills of management, managing the resources at your disposal within the boundaries of what you have. That you can control. What you cannot control is how long this will take, how far this would go, and the impact of the crisis or the virus on people. What we can control are the medical advice that will be given by the medical experts with respect to the COVID virus. And what we can control is the resources that we have within our control. This is a very important message for Nigerians to understand. Because when you're anxious about what is beyond your control, then you're getting yourself in a more risky and vulnerable place mentally.
Okay, Sam, I like that you took us through this path, which is control what you can, and perhaps as religious people, leave the rest to God. Yes, but how do you exert control over this double whammy crisis, or perhaps a triple whammy crisis, whereby it's those that have money that went to the market yesterday. Prices have skyrocketed.
Yes.
Some people went to the market yesterday.
Yes.
Their monies couldn't buy as many things as they wanted. So how can they exert control over this triple whammy crisis, perhaps hunger, COVID-19 crisis, and any other, or any other? So there's a virus already that has been with us, hunger crisis and poverty crisis. So how do I exert control?
So there are three things I'm going to share with our audience, and I hope they can catch it. The first thing is learn the power of utilization. Sometimes what is necessary is not available. It's now to switch into what is available becomes necessary. So the first thing is to learn to utilize what you have. You may not have all the quantity and quality of resources you need, but whatever you have, use it as you have it. That is the first thing I want us to understand. So utilize what you have to the best possible capacity that you have. Number two, for you to be able to understand and manage through this period, your niche is now when you need to hire either a coach or a therapist or someone that can help you manage your emotions.
Without money, Sam? We are talking of money.
Yes. No, because the way it is right now, the temptation to say without money I cannot survive is actually a mindset. Because if you look at it really, whether you have money or not, at this material time, there is nothing you can do about it. Okay, so even if you ask anyone to give you money and they send you money, where are you going to spend it? So it's important to find ways to utilize and find ways to communicate. So this is when our people should communicate more. Find trusted people that you can interact with to give you ideas how to use what you have. Because our mobility is even limited as it is right now based on the restrictions. So it's not as though you can go get supplies from anyone or anywhere. So number one is utilization. Number two is to increase on communication. Get more people to interact with you and participate in a lot more communicative ways so that you can keep your mental health thinking. You know, the challenge, Nancy, is that this period can lead to an emotional hijack, which means you suspend your thinking. And when you suspend your thinking, you cannot find a way out of the rut. So the priority now is to sit down and think, now that I am in this reality, this is my current truth. My current truth is that I don't have all I need. I don't have the money. What do I need to do? So we need to enter a thinking mode, which means we need to interact with more people within our close cycle who can give us ideas how to cope with what we have. So this is a time to think. This is a time to be modest. And this is a time to control what we have influence on and let go, release. Just like you said, leave it to God, what you know you don't have control over.
Okay, Sam, let me take you from this angle, which is, I understand what you're saying in terms of we still need to achieve balance despite the world of imbalance right now.
Yes.
Our lives have been radically altered. Millions, if not billions of people are not at work right now. Some have lost jobs, even as we speak, because some companies have laid off. Some are even paying half salary. Some have said, just stay at home first. Let's see how this thing will go. Some do not even have enough basic things, even food, even the hygiene products and safety products which we're supposed to have. Hunger will definitely rise in the next few days. See the reports that we've been showing on this channel. Some people from Nasarawa have been trying to come into Abuja. They said they want to enter by force because they don't have their daily breads. How can we achieve that balance right now, where even some people at home have postponed their weddings, some burials have been postponed indefinitely, no outlook right now. The highest place you can go, you are confined to either your small space in the house
or your estate.
Or the highest travel right now is from your bedroom to your dining room. That's your highest travel. So I needed to reel out all these things because that's what we are battling with right now. Our worlds, our lives have been radically altered. So how do I maintain this my head on my body with a sound mind and also thinking through and saying, how do I navigate through this economic crisis and this human crisis?
Okay, so firstly, when the president was giving his speech 2 days ago, I sent a tweet and I said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for your speech. However, I wish you also considered either a partial or a total suspension of bills, power bills, water bills, and several of these bills need to be cut down because revenue is not coming in, patronage is not going to happen. And so we will be spending more bills because we're staying home now. We'll spend more power, we'll expense more power, we'll expense more water, we'll expense more energy, which means that we need to also have those bills suspended either partially or fully. So we're counting on the federal government to help us with that angle of it. Now, but in the event where these things don't happen, our people need to now adopt other measures to help themselves. A typical example is now is when to involve in more activities like workouts and creative ways of getting yourself busy. Because if you increase your boredom, you would eat more, you'll be more anxious, you'll be more afraid. The news will be bombarding you with details of who has died and the increase in the cases that have been tested that have turned out positive. You don't want to expose yourself to these vulnerabilities. So you want to learn a new skill now. Is now you can do your gardening, is now you can do your creative learning, is now you can join a fitness routine in your small estate or in your location. Well, this is for some elite, but somehow we can actually create new activities that can get our minds engaged because everything starts from the mind. If it's not, and they say nature abhors a vacuum. When your mind is open-ended without being occupied with activities, then you get yourself into vices and self-destructive patterns. So this is when to get involved in more games. You can, if you like, you can indulge in more movies, you can listen to more music, you can create new activities and new groups within your immediate cycle. The point here is get yourself doing something, get busy.
Okay.
Get yourself doing something productive.
Okay, Sam, let me come in here. I said earlier that a lot of people are anxious, and you also mentioned it. A lot of people are fearful at this time. A lot of people are panicky. You see even people going to the pharmacies now. People are saying, oh, buy chloroquine. We saw what happened yesterday in the US, FDA, chloroquine and all of that. If you go to pharmacies, you may not even see it. Some people in the past few days or since COVID-19 may just even be having, not symptoms of COVID-19, but they were like, oh, I'm beginning to have, perhaps your mind is working.
Symptoms.
Thank you, that's the word. Imaginary symptoms. So your mind is really, your mind is working. Google has now become the best medical doctor. If you feel a symptom, you just go Google symptoms of COVID and all of that. And you're also seeing that the internet has become a lifeline to millions of people. So I want to ask you two questions in one. What is the future of work moving forward and technology moving forward? Since all of us are on a lockdown, we are remotely working right now. And what is the future of this, even as we go on? Because I also was reading in China, you know, business activity is starting slowly in China, that the rates of divorce in China has increased. Now, in the last 3 weeks, they've seen divorce applications skyrocketed. And perhaps as a result of this, we'll be having quarantines, teenagers in 2033 as a result of this global war, global lockdown, babies, corona babies, there'll be teens in 2033. I hope you understand all what I've, so just try and answer
I understand
all of that.
all that. Yeah. Now, so there's going to be an unprecedented shift in a lot of things, Nancy. For instance, employers are going to find that many of their employees are actually redundant and not needed. Because suddenly the employer will find smart, better ways of doing their work from a remote angle. And then this remote work we have advised will expose a lot of gaps and inefficiencies in processes. So when we return after the COVID and after the recession, you'll find that employers will cut down on the number of employees they have and will find smarter ways to get things done and which will be more efficient and save them a lot of costs. So I see a lot of unemployment-related aftermath coming from this situation. Now, I had already warned via our channels some weeks ago that there's going to be an outbreak of increased divorces, increased tensions at home, increased stress, and all those intimacies that were pretensive before would just be exposed by this situation. So there's also going to be an aftermath of an emotional and mental breakdown from this situation. That these are the repercussions of the intensity of our staying at home that we really would need to prepare for. So I advise the federal government, for instance, and it's a global phenomenon, that unemployment rates will shoot up. We need to begin to prepare for that. We need to begin to prepare for how do businesses bounce back financially from the breakdown that is going to happen because of the low revenues and the low, patronage that will happen in the course of the next few weeks and months. These are economic problems that are staring us in the face that we need to begin to plan ahead for. Already, governments are saying the food recession is coming, financial recession is coming. Governments need to plan for their people. And now this is when we ourselves also have to start adopting homemade ideas. A typical example, talking about the Panadol, chloroquine, there are home remedies for COVID. Gargle warm water and salt, wash your hands, drink tea as much as you want. There are home remedies. So it's a lot of re-education. I expect the National Orientation Agency to be in the forefront of teaching us a lot of things that we have ignored all these years.
Okay.
And this is where, so we have a lot to do together. I think those in the health industry, food industry, so many industries need to come together now to create homemade ideas for the next level for us as a people.
Okay. I think we'll leave it at that. We have so much to talk about within this 1 hour. But Sam, thank you for speaking to me. I hope you're sanitizing your hands.
Thank you, Nancy.
You shouldn't be sanitizing. Be washing your hands with soap and water because you're at home. Yes.
Every
yes.
hour. Every hour.
Every hour. Or every 20 minutes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. All right. Thank you for speaking with me. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I've been speaking with Sam Obafemi, who is the founder of Sam Obafemi Coaching Academy. I hope I got that right. We've been trying to achieve the balance between money, mind, and health so that we don't go crazy in the house.